Key number 10. So selling out compromises your personal values, integrity, and talent. So anytime you are going to sell out and go for the counterfeit and make peace with that, is one of those things that I hear a lot of times. Men, and these are men who say that, say this. This is not women. These are men. That when a man is forced to um, decide between two women, he chooses the weaker woman. Now, I've heard men say that. Women have mimicked that after that, but I have never heard a woman say that first. That's men say that. And when you do that, you are selling out yourself. You would rather live with the counterfeit, live with the weaker person, than to wait it out and be with the person you really want to be with. And sometimes you don't know who that is, but you have an idea of who that is. It's like you're looking for something. It reminds me of You've Got Mail, and Meg Ryan's character is asked by someone about her special person and who she thinks she's going to want to be with or something like that. And she said it's a kind of like an ideal. I still haven't found that person yet, and I'm paraphrasing. I still haven't found that person, but it's like it's somebody I know. I just know that it's going to be a certain kind of person, right? And then it turns out to be Tom Hanks. And so, has she stayed with the guy that she was living with, who was preoccupied with his typewriter, and then who was kind of flirting with the person who was interviewing him? She would have to put up with a lot. It will compromise her personal value. It will compromise her integrity. It will compromise her talent. She will compromise in life. You got a lot of people who stay in marriages, uh, and I don't advocate divorce in terms of just leaving to leave, but stay in marriages when they know their partner is cheating. Their partner leaves the house, leaves for the weekend, Friday, and does not come back home to Sunday night, and still expects his clothes washed, the house clean, the dinner on the table. He still expects all those things. And somewhere she's decided that if I'm going to keep this home, if I'm going to keep the allotment that my husband gives me, and I don't necessarily have to work, I'm a stay at home wife. If I'm going to have to accept this. And you got a lot of women now who are making all these TikToks and YouTube videos and things like that about telling women that they need to accept cheating and not understanding the implications of their statements that cheating equals exit. The person wants out of the relationship. And men don't respect you when you put up with their mess. Sure, they'll stay around you, they'll let you put up with them, right? But they don't really respect you, and they will continue to cheat and bring all types of stress and anxiety, some diseases to the house, the and to you. But one of the things I want to think about, I mean, call attention to, is the last word in this sentence, talent, and that when you make a decision to stay with the um, counterfeit, the potential, it affects your talent. You whatever ideals that you had prior to meeting that person were just they just came flowing. Okay, they were great, right? And then when you met that person, um, at the beginning you didn't notice that there was a change to how you develop your talent, but somehow in the arguments that you had in a relationship, the back and forth, the silent treatment, all that kind of stuff, it started to weigh on you. You didn't produce in your talent, using your talent in the same way that you did before. Because if you take the person out of the equation, you'll still be affected. You'll still have some issues, but you'll pick up quickly that talent. But it becomes diluted. It becomes really undeveloped. The longer that you have that self-destructive person in your life, it becomes something that you just kind of sit on the shelf. Somehow it just moved from the enthusiasm that you had for it to now just sitting on the shelf. And then you take up what she wants you to take up, which is a good job, making six figures, giving her everything she wants you to have, wants her to have, and then you just live with it. And I wonder sometimes about men who have health problems later in life, in the same way that I wonder about women who have health problems in later in life. When you put up with a situation so long, I feel like it affects you mentally. I think sometimes the stress of dealing with who just has always been hostile to hostile towards you, really didn't want you, and somewhere you realize that on your marriage journey that it affects you. That that of course you don't always get any rest, like I noted, but I think it affects you more than you realize. I don't think it is something that goes away. And as long as you are in a relationship, in a marriage, um, you're basically surviving. It's a survival test, right? But once you get out of it, you feel the weight of that decision making, that decision to stay in that relationship, that decision that affected how you developed in your talent, that decision that affected your personal values. Many of us have made so many bad decisions in our 20s, and maybe we were becoming aware of them, but just kind of, ignored it in our 30s. But it is in your 40s when you feel your mortality. And that's when the weight of that decision really hits you. You realize the magnitude and the significance of the decision that you made and how it is now affecting you in your life in your 40s. And if you don't catch yourself and begin to turn that ship around, um, before your 50s, you're going to struggle even more in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. And that's not the time to have toxic relationships. That's a If you have a heart attack in your 20s and 30s, rest assured you're going to have one in your 60s, 70s, 80s. So addressing those factors, addressing those issues, like in those 40s before you turn 50, is the time to do that. Because otherwise, you're heading um, in the wrong direction. And many people, if you watch a lot of the documentaries and a lot of these episodes, snap episodes, and Fatal Attraction and Lifetime movies, you see that the person had an opportunity to lead the situation. You see that the person had an opportunity to choose better. You see that they had an open door, right? But in the case of men, they stay with the situation because it's just convenient, because no one wants to have to start over. And men are the kind of people who don't really want to start over. Women will start over, sometimes too much. Women will actually start over. We'll move out of the house. We'll go get another place. Uh, we'll work with the furniture that we got, and we'll save money to get more furniture. We'll do what we got to do to get to where we got to get to. But men will sit there in that house dealing with a toxic woman for however long he can stand it. And it can be an early death, right? Because certain women are the type of women who will eventually put you in a home, or certain women are the type of women who will put insurance on you and just hoping for you to die, just so they can get that financial cut. And so those are the types of women that you saw potential in, but turned out they are not the women that you should have been with.